for your separation from your company before you start working there. In other words, if you want a severance agreement, it's much better to negotiate that severance agreement before you start working there as part of your employment contract. And the reason why is because under California law, an employer has no obligation to provide you any severance when you leave employment, unless the company has a contractual obligation to do so, and that's your employment agreement. If you do get a severance agreement, your severance agreement will likely say something along the lines of, if you're fired without cause, or if you resign with good reason. Good reason being that your pay is reduced, you're required to move 100 miles from your original location, then you will get severance. But if you're fired with cause, or if you resign without good reason, then you won't get severance. We see a lot of cases where someone is fired, and whether they get severance will depend on whether they were fired for cause or not. The employer says the employee was fired for cause. You say you were fired without cause. So when negotiating your severance agreement, pay attention. Also ensure that your severance agreement has a good reason for resignation clause, which allows you to resign and still get severance in the event that the company reduces your duties, reduces your pay, reduces your hours, changes your location substantially, or something along those lines. I've seen too many severance agreements that didn't have that clause. If your employer doesn't pay you severance, you may, under California law, be entitled to not only your severance, but also an additional month's pay, if you can show that your employer acted willfully in failing to pay you your severance, which essentially means your employer intended not to pay you severance, rather than simply forgot, or rather than simply inadvertence or mistake.